Hi, everybody. It's Patty from Giddy Things. I'm here tonight to talk about post traditional students going back to school, to college, and reinventing their lives. Meanwhile, there's a swirl of the matrix in my glasses. So let's take those off, shall we? Now, to be clear again, I can see about 5 or 6 inches in front of my face. So these are going to come back on in a second as I share some real time data with you. I have really 3 takeaways from this video that I'd like to share. One is how eminently possible it is to go back to college in the United States now. It's incredibly possible financially, and really, to be honest, at any age. At any age. The second is that there is sort of, in a way, a stigma around intellectualism right now. The idea that, there's something wrong with wanting to have completed college and that people don't need college and that sort of thing. So, first is the possibility of going back is very real, no matter where you are and what you're doing or how old you are and or how many responsibilities you have. And then the idea that it's worthwhile. There are things that really a college degree in the United States is the best way to get a hold of certain skills, regardless of whether these end up being work skills where you go school to work, college straight into the job market, or you're going to transfer from a community college, for example, and get an associate's degree and then transfer into a bachelor's degree, or if you're going to go to pick up a skill like welding or machining or HVAC work, and many other things, or if you want to go back to do some kind of a medical health, allied health services degree. It's so eminently possible at so many different levels of age. And the third point really is that, oh my goodness, oh my goodness, oh my goodness, oh my goodness, I cannot say it enough. I know I've already said it, but it's its own point. Community colleges are a wonderful way to start. And people have all these odd ideas sometimes because of other people's perceptions. And remember, we don't care what other people think about the good, helpful decisions that we make in our lives that are going to make our lives better, that are going to make our families' lives better, and the communities in general, just make us more effective citizens. Now, I want to have a caveat here. You do not have to have a college degree to be a wonderfully happy, successful person. Nobody is better than anyone else. We are all equally valuable. But if you want to think about it, here are some steps to take, and I'm going to link in the description below the websites that I mentioned that might help you take those steps. I'm going to mention a website in a second that's not really about those steps. It's just to give you some supporting data. I am an English teacher after all, right? And a sociologist, so it's all about the data. Sorry about the computer in my eyes, but if you go to studentaid.gov, this is a very first step for thinking about college. Studentaid.gov, and I'm going to link it below. You can fill out your federal aid form for for tertiary education, for higher education. And that will give you an idea, it will help you see how much money the federal government is willing to help you with. I'm going to take these back off again, I guess. But because I may have to put them back on, and I don't want that to be annoying. But you can get information about how much money the federal government is willing to help you with to go back to school. And that's not the end of it. Check out your local community college. Check out all kinds of things about them. Their online programs, any classes that they have, which I teach these kinds of classes, high flex classes, where you can either attend a class online live through something like Zoom, or you can watch the recording later. It's a very flexible way to go back to school. Check out all the things. If you think, well, my schedule just won't permit that, the only time I have to go to college is 2 to 3 a.m., right? Or 2 to 5 a.m. It can be done. Now, glasses are going to come back on you. I'm so sorry. And I don't know why I all of a sudden wanted to start singing, I fooled around and fell in love. I have no idea. It just, that happens to me. I wonder if that happens to you too. So I am looking now at the percentage of students who are in college. Now, we don't have a lot of specific research about community college students, but the percentage of students in college who are over the traditional age, and we like to call this, we used to call it non-traditional, but now I like better post-traditional students. So post-traditional students who are attending college make up, according to acenet.edu, make up about 60%, and I was pretty sure of that number going in there, of people enrolled in college in the United States right now. That's a big number. Now, when we're talking about post-traditional students, we're talking about people over 25 all the way up through life, who have jobs a lot of times, who have families, may have children, may have parents for whom they're caring, complicated schedules that don't seem to tend to lend themselves to the traditional idea people have of college, which is a lot of times no longer accurate, right? So it's eminently possible. A lot of people are doing it. It's eminently possible to do, but it all begins by going to see if the money is a concern, which it is for a lot of us. If I were going back to school, that would be a huge concern. But going into studentaid.gov and filling out the FAFSA to see, FAFSA, to see how much money the federal government may help to give you. And again, once you get to the community college, and I'm going to go exclusively now on community college, once you get to the community college, there's additional funds available. Sometimes most community colleges have, most schools in general have foundations, higher education schools, that have scholarships or just free money. Some states also will give you additional money on top of what the federal government gives you. So it can be free for a lot of students. At some community colleges, 70+% of the students who attend do so for free. And sometimes, if you really qualify for quite a bit of financial aid, and the less money you make, the more financial aid you're likely to apply for and get. You will even get refunds back that will help you to buy the other things you need for college, maybe, or to just help you supplement your income during the time that you're in college. So that is all, I think, really exciting news. So it's eminently possible, but it starts by making the step, moving forward, having a growth mindset, and honestly, the belief in yourself to say, I'm just going to fill out this form and see what the financials look like. There's a place on the form where you can find to put the federal code for your community college, whatever is local to you. You can even just give them a call. If you don't know how to look that up, you can find it pretty easily through Googling it. But to say, hey, I'm interested in going to the college. Would you mind telling me what the financial aid code is for this particular college? And they'll tell you, you fill that in, and your FAFSA then gets automatically sent to that college. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. And so a lot of the work now, because of computers and the internet age, is being done, for us. It's not when I started college, it was all in triplicate and you had to press down really hard with an ink pen. But now it's a much more streamlined process. Even if you're really nervous about it, within about 3 days, you can have a super good picture of what that's going to look like for you, right, to go back to college. And sometimes it's a single day. I've known people who literally turned off of an interstate to come to the community college where I've worked, and I've worked at a couple, and decided to go to college like that day because they saw a sign that said enrolling now and wanted to go see what programs were there. And again, these are both traditional academic programs and trade programs, or programs associated with not needing academic transfer track degree, and transfer track just means that you're going to transfer to a 4-year school to finish your education. And if you complete a degree at a community college, that usually means you go into the 4-year institution as a junior, right? As a 3rd-year student. So you've already completed nearly half of your degree, which is really cool. At the community college, which has transfer agreements with these 4-year colleges that sometimes even make it easier. Some of these transfer agreements, are you ready? Will get your transfer into the 4-year college to be as simple as, because you finished that particular state's, or sometimes any state, it depends on the institution, because you finished a community college degree, which is often called an associate degree, you are automatically accepted into certain state colleges. Isn't that cool? Isn't that cool? So anyone, for example, in the state of Virginia who finishes at the Virginia Community College System at any of the 23 schools associated with that system and gets an associate degree is automatically able to go to Virginia Tech. Now, you might have to try to get into schools like architecture or, veterinary school, but the actual college itself, just to continue your college degree, you can get into Virginia Tech with just a piece of paper that says you have an associate's degree from a community college, whereas people coming straight from high school might have to jump through many additional hoops. So that, and the community college sometimes can help you find money to go on and further your education. Again, on the other side of that are career tech ed, sometimes they're called CTE degrees, which you're going directly into the workforce. And some of those are like 12 weeks, right? To a year to 2 years. That's, you can decide what you want to do. And that's kind of the first point. It's eminently possible, and I'll come back with more in future videos, but that's just to get you started. Go look at the FAFSA at studentaid.gov, and check that out. If you just put in FAFSA, it'll probably take you to the site in a Google search. The second thing I mentioned was this idea of anti-intellectualism, really is basically what it is people telling you that you don't need a college degree. And you don't. You don't need one, but you might want one. There are many things I've noticed in the 26 years I've been teaching college. And one of the things that I've noticed is, and this is not putting anyone down whatsoever, because everyone's equally valuable and wonderful and lovable. But I have noticed that what young people are coming out of high school knowing about cultural literacy, just about the things, the stories that our culture tells, or history and the things associated with history, or recent popular culture and movies, songs, all kinds of things. Like I said, historical events, things about their own government. Fewer students coming directly from high school really have a good idea of those basics that make for being an effective and empowered citizen. And that's one of the things that college can help people catch up on. Because typically, if you go in a transfer route and you're going to take the continuing academic experience and go to a 4-year school as well, you're going to be taking classes that will get you up to date with the most recent things that are happening in our culture and our society, and also the history of thoughts and ideas and movements and philosophies and ideologies in our country, so that you're better informed and able to participate as an active citizen. And man, do you deserve that. You deserve to be an active citizen, to have what we call agency. And agency is just the level of control you have over anything in your life. But to increase your agency about being a citizen is enough of a reason, to be honest. There's also this incredible sense of lifelong learning. People are curious, right, in lots of ways, but I mean people have an innate curiosity about life. And a lot of people whose longevity is storied and well told, like Betty White, Dick Van Dyke, people like that, have said that what has kept them going so long and so happily is their curiosity about life, just wanting to continue to learn. And I think that that is a beautiful thing. I'm still learning things. I'm studying data analytics now just because I want to, and I'm interested in it. It has to do with research, and I love research. Now, have I gone to school for long enough? Yeah, I really have, but I can't sort of stop the idea of how exciting it is to be a student, especially when you've taught for a long time, being in the position of being the one on the opposite side of the desk and just getting to be responsible for your own experience can be really relaxing, like taking off my glasses that I need to see this far in front of my face can be. So that's exciting information. There are lots of benefits to going, and I'm not going to cover them all here, but I just wanted to talk about that piece of feeling more informed about the world, feeling more involved in what's going on in the world. It's exciting stuff. It really is. And it's different from high school, I promise. It's different from high school. No shade to high school because I love my K 12 colleagues, but it is different, especially if you've gone to high school in the most recent like 30 years, right? But also for everyone, no matter when you went to high school, it is an opportunity to learn things and to be led by experts, right? Community colleges, that was my third thing. I'm transitioning, I'm segueing into that not so smoothly. But community colleges are especially helpful because the mission of most community college faculty is teaching. Once you get to the 4 year college, which is wonderful, and I enjoyed my time in undergraduate situations and graduate situations and doctoral work, but it's so exciting to be in that college experience no matter what your age. Again, remember 60% are over 25, and there's a huge number of people who are over 35. Over 40 is a real time that people, over 50 is a real time that people want to reinvent themselves, and people continue to do that into their 60s and 70s. Life is a series of marathons, right? Not sprints, and that's important to remember. So, the community college uniquely offers you some opportunities that you may not get in other places. First of all, it's affordable. Most of the time, it's affordable, and there are all kinds of programs to help you go back. There are specific programs set up, programs that are called things like Excel, EXCEL, or TRIO, TRIO, that are set up to give you additional support as a post-traditional learner, as a first-generation college student, if that's where you are. So the community college has, oh my gosh, been as underestimated sometimes as the local library. Libraries are power, right? That's where the hub of our civic engagement really is. And the same goes for community colleges and just local colleges in general. That is where you can go to get help with a variety of things, but one of those things is to decide where you want to go next in life. The community in community college means that most of the time, an effective community college will be deeply, deeply rooted in the community, working with people from the elementary to middle grades, which part of elementary now. When I was in school, it was junior high when I was a kid. But anyway, so up to, high school, community college, 4 year college, graduate, postgraduate work, doctoral work. So the community college is kind of an incubator for the rest of your academic career. Or again, if you would like to go straight into the workforce from the community college, there are so many things. Right now, like medical terminology, I think is interesting. For a while, I was helping other educators learn how to be educators, people who'd come from the workforce and wanted to teach at the community college, but really hadn't ever experienced the craft of teaching. I was helping them learn how to do that. And what's exciting about that is that I got to sit in on so many different kinds of classes. And I can tell you, medical coding is one of the most interesting ones that I sat in on. And I think in 2015 is when I was doing this. At that time, and of course now that's already been 10 years ago, but at that time, medical coding was changing a lot. I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, medical coding people out there, but at that time, It went from being like 12,000 medical codes in existence where people write up your bill and put the code next to what is going on with you medically to like 64,000. One of the things I remember from sitting in on those classes is that there's a specific, and I don't know if this is still true, you can check me on this, but there was a specific medical code for if you had been injured as a result of an encounter with a space shuttle. Just a little interesting trivia for you. But the community college offers those kinds of really widely diverse areas of study that you can get directly into the workforce with. You know, if you've always wanted to care for people and always wanted to be a nurse and you think, oh, I don't know if I could do that, I've never really done it, it's not a very long program to get to be a certified nursing assistant, right? Or whatever it's called in the specific state where you are. There are so many things. If you've been interested in being a substitute teacher, there's a real need for them. Once you get to a certain number of hours in college, you don't even have to be done yet. You can be qualified to be a substitute teacher, and that pay can be good depending on where you live, right? And it can be so wonderful. Don't believe what people tell you about kids. Yeah, schools have become way more dangerous than they used to be, and horrible things that I never imagined would happen when I was in school are in public school are happening now. But you can get sort of feed into your community and talk to people about some of the best schools that you could provide substitute teaching for. You can become a teacher's aide without having finished a paraprofessional, without having finished a college degree. So there are so many opportunities. Don't think you're locked into the long term, especially when you go to a community college. But it also can be the starting place for you to have a career that you've dreamed of that requires even a higher level of education. Don't give up on yourself. I will also be linking in the description below a TED Talk from Dr. Carol Dweck about growth mindset. I encourage you to watch that. And a TED Talk from Dr. Angela Duckworth about grit, which is resilience, perseverance over a long-term goal, and the stamina to get things done. And I bet you have more of that than you may even realize. Thank you for hanging out with me and listening to this information. I hope it helped. I'll be back with additional, more specific information about going back to college, specifically for people over 40 or just post-traditional students in general, and how that can work into the schedule that you have. Meanwhile, go in peace and love to serve others. Remember how loved you are. I love you.